Welcome to another episode of My Crypto World. Today I'm going to share another Bigfoot story with you guys. Let me take a drink of this pop first. This story happened right here locally. Some folks that I knew, well actually one of them was a driver's ed teacher in high school. Was my driver's ed teacher in high school. He was a neighbor of mine for a very long time. Both of these gentlemen have passed away now, and they passed away roughly within a year of one another. Both of them were great guys. Anyways, at one time I used to do, when I had a little more free time, I used to do computer repair. Well, my neighbor who lives across the road and up on a hill just a little bit, he had drove over and wanted to talk to me about his computer. His computer was having problems, wanted to know if I'd look at it. And of course, I told him, I would. And he knowed I fooled around with Bigfoot stuff and just weird stuff in general. And he told me, he said, there's something coming in behind the house, and I don't think it's a bear. I said, well, what's it doing? What do you think's going on? And he said, I don't know. I said, there's just something coming back there, and I just don't think it's a bear. Well, excuse me. I went up there to check it out, and they had this old bird dog tied up. It was real old, but it was kind of skittish. You could pet it and stuff like that, but it was just it acted like something that was real nervous. It would always. If there was much noise or you moved too fast, seemed like it wanted to run and get in its house. It was just I don't know, it was kind of skittish type dog, even though it was old, and I'm sure it wasn't mistreated. Anyways, I got to looking around that area and behind it, and I did find some odd stick breaks and formations. One of them was these two little saplings about maybe hardly as big as a quarter. They had been broken and pushed under an old dead log, and the old dead log had been laying there a long time, because you could tell it had been there a long time. It had moss and weeds growing on it, but the two limbs that was broken, pushed under there, they was of course still green. But I found some tracks and stuff up there too. Well, along about this same time, there was a sighting kind of catty corner across from where these people live, and this is when my neighbor was walking, and he actually saw a Bigfoot walk right across the road. Well, anyways, back to the original where the dog was. My idea was that this Bigfoot was coming down and stealing the dog's food. That's kind of what I think was going on, because the dog stayed skinny. They fed it well. Even my dad, he kind of took care of it when both of them were sick. He kind of took care of the yard stuff for them, and he would take extra food up to the dog. But my idea was, I thought maybe the Bigfoot was coming down and stealing this dog's food. Well, that was kind of backed up a little bit. My theory was kind of backed up a little bit, because where my neighbor had saw the Bigfoot, and this is right, like I say, right across the road, right close to where these people live, he'd saw. My neighbor would go walking for exercise and health reasons, and he seen this Bigfoot go across the road. Well, I'd gone in behind that sighting maybe an hour and a half after he saw this one across the road. I was actually down there investigating where across the road at. Well, close to where that is another neighbor of mine who also just recently passed away. And I went and talked to him. I asked him if he'd seen anything, heard anything. He said, well, I told him, I said, he's seen a Bigfoot cross the road. He said, well, there's something been getting in my dog food. He kept his dog food outside in one of those big containers that's got a lid on it, like I don't know, you see them at Walmart and stuff. We use them when we go on events and stuff. They're a tub with a lid on it. Well, he'd keep his dog food in that, and he said he'd seen something getting in that, But he thought it was. He said all I could see was the back of it move away real quick. And he said he said thought it was a bear. So the thing is, I'm pretty sure, confident it was a Bigfoot getting in his dog food, and he comes across the road and goes back up in the mountains. Well, back up in the mountains comes right down behind these people's house that had the dog that's tied up. And what most people in this area may not know, just on the opposite ridge of where these people live is a natural cave. I don't know how far it goes back into it or whatever. I've never been up there to it, but I do know it's there. I know people who have went into it some. So I think they stay there. Well, anyways, in investigating up around where the dog is, where the dog was tied up, like I say, I found the tracks, stick breaks, and things like that. Then I investigate this one below the house, and I go in behind where it come from, like over around into the creek and stuff, and I find a big X where a tree limb about that big, about big as a softball, had been pulled apart and placed in two forks and made a real nice X. But the ground was so hard I didn't find no tracks. But now fast forward about probably 3 or 4 months into the future around this time. This was in 2000 and gosh, I guess 13 or 14, maybe somewhere along that way. And I had my own personal sighting, and it was right here, right close to where that dog was tied up. But now the one I seen was probably 10 foot tall. I watched it step in between two trees, and I could see it very well. And it was black, black as night, as they say, or black as coal, or it was very, very dark and very, very large and muscular. I can distinctively see its foot and stuff pick up off the ground and its calf muscle because it was huge. But there's 3 sightings all within less than a quarter of a mile of each other. And I found tracks, we found stick breaks, stick formations, and there's varying sizes on those. The one that was seen crossing the road was roughly around 6 foot, 6.5 foot tall. The one I seen was at least 10 foot tall, 9 or 10 foot tall. I'd say 10 foot tall easy, and it was huge. And now the one that was coming to get in the dog food, I have no idea. And the one I seen, which was, I mean, it's just a rock throw to where the dog was tied up. From the one I seen, you could actually probably throw a rock and hit where the dog was at. But our neighbors would put out scraps and stuff, and this would bring in, of course, coyotes and everything else. So and this was in the winter time when I saw mine. There was a lot of snow on the ground. So I think that maybe that Bigfoot was coming in there and getting food, and I think that was a behavior they'd been doing for a long time, because it was coming to getting the dog food from the dog that's tied up. They was going across the road and getting into the dog food where the guy had it out in the bin, and they was getting the food where the neighbors were dumping it out in the edge of the woods. So there's you some legitimate Bigfoot sightings that I know. The people, I know the one I seen was real, and I know the people who told me those two that they seen, the one across the road and the one that lived on the hill, they're not people that would make things up. So Bigfoot is very real, and we have quite a few sightings here in this general area. So, and that's, like I say, that's real close to me. But I just wanted to share that little story with you, and hope you enjoyed that. So if you'd like to see more of these videos, let me know. If you'd like to see a specific topic talk about, just let me know. I would encourage everybody to who are really, I've seen where questions get posted on Facebook groups and stuff asking questions about Bigfoot, and I would encourage everyone to get my book, Understanding Bigfoot, Helpful Information and Answers to Common Questions, that came out this year in April of this year, and answer well over 20 questions, common questions about Bigfoot. And I pull on my experience of researching for almost 25 years, or around 25 years, and I also use science, zoology, and historical reports to come to a conclusion about these questions, and it ain't just a willy-nilly type thing. I feel like there's some good information in it, and you can find it on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, and I think you can even you should be able to order it at any bookstore. But if you really want to know some answers to common questions about Bigfoot, do they migrate, do they bury their dead, things like that, and answered in detail. So I mean, if you're really interested in that kind of thing, just pick up my book. I think sometimes I have them on hand. I sell them on Facebook, and I don't care to sign them for you or whatever if I got some on hand. But you can find it on Amazon. But for today, I'm going to go ahead and close out this video, and I appreciate you guys watching and sharing the videos, and just stay tuned. I'll have more stuff. It's coming winter time, so research is I have to taper off because of there's a lot of hunting going on. Even right now, there's a lot of hunting going on. It's kind of dangerous, and I don't want to give away my areas to hunters. So I pull back a little bit right now. I still get out and do some stuff and go to different locations, but my number one, number two spots I don't go to as much during hunting season because I don't want people to. I don't want to give away my areas. Which most hunters are not going to. Most hunters, when you're out there, they're not looking for anything Bigfoot related. They're looking for whatever game they're hunting. But in the wintertime, we have to pull back anyways from researching because of bad weather and things like that anyway. So in the wintertime, I actually get more chances to work on projects and do videos and things like that. So hopefully through the winter, I can get several more projects done and do some more videos and share some more stories and just general talk about Bigfoot and ghost hunting and stuff like that. So hopefully I'll put this out there. We're trying to plan a ghost hunting adventure thing on Halloween night. So it's not set in stone yet, but just a small handful of us is trying to get into a place that we investigated before that we really like. So I'll keep you posted on that. If we can get into the area, I love the area. The entities that are there are, I don't know, there's just something about them that's a little bit different than most places we've investigated. So we're hoping we can get in there on Halloween night. But I'll have more about that later, hopefully, and if we do get to go in there, I'll have some video of it. But you guys be good and stay safe, and I'll see you next time.